recognize that there are certain actions individuals on their own can take. But we don't assume that every Nigerian is so educated and so enlightened like you and I, that automatically we will take certain steps to protect ourselves and families. And that is where our government comes in. Our government have to come in to be able to educate and enlighten those folks who may not be like you and I, who are already educated, who can take decisions on our own, to be able to inform them, look, take so and so step, take step A, B, C, D, or E, so that you can protect yourself and protect your family, especially at this time of the year. We assume that every Nigerian thinks alike. Every Nigerian don't. None of us went to Harvard or Yale or West Point or University of Ibadan or Lagos. There are so many Nigerians who didn't have that opportunity to attain the level of educational enlightenment that we did.
But generally, around our social centers, and I'm still saying, let's take Abuja as an example, because if Abuja is dropping the ball, then the chances are high that perhaps in the States, the chances they're dropping the ball will be far higher.
Of course.
From what you have noticed in the social centers, in the religious centers, would you say that from, our security alertness level has really dipped?
I wouldn't say that we've let down the guard, but I'm thinking that, look, the phase of terrorism that we are in Nigeria right now is much more difficult than what it was in 2015.
Why?
Before that. Because what you have is a situation whereby, look, what happened prior to 2015 is you have identified locations where terrorists were camping. So it is easy for you to move in as a military formation and take out those locations. Okay, now what is happening is that those elements who were there have dispersed into the civil society. They have become like you and I. So you don't know who is a terrorist and who is not. So it's much more difficult. As a matter of fact, it's a security personnel nightmare. So you discover that tanks, fighter jets, all those things are useless right now because you can't bomb the whole of Borno. These guys, or Maiduguri, these guys are inside the civil society, living a normal life like every other Nigerian. So you cannot, it's much more difficult to find them and fish them out. So that's why I say that the level we are in right now is much more difficult to deal with than the level that we were before 2015, because then you have identified locations where you could possibly go and take out. Now you don't. They are everywhere, as individuals, ourselves, and operating and living normal life.
So what would you, you've already said that the government should be sending out messages. We heard from the Ministry of Information that they're going to ramp up their campaign on see something, say something.
Correct.
Yeah, you're saying that should be done in local languages. But even on, on the conventional media, radio and TV, ones that you watch, would you say that from what you have heard and seen so far, they're doing something about it already?
I haven't heard anything said in local languages. Maybe they are beaming that to the areas, identified areas. But as far as Abuja is concerned, it's still in English, okay, for Abuja consumption.
Are you saying something in English?
Well, we used to see in the past. Recently, I have not seen any, but they're saying that they're going to ramp it up. So maybe I'm expecting that within a day or two, we will begin to see that again. But what I'm saying is that it is not enough to say if you see something, you say something. That is for Abuja audience. Okay, it's not for the village audience. You have to take the message down to the people in the language that they understand best. Some of them don't understand English. Some don't even understand broken English pidgin. Okay, so you have to take it to them in their own language. And you must find a mechanism to do that, because a lot of all these people don't have TV and they don't have radio. And those who have television and radio don't have power. So you have to be innovative and creative about how you do it. We need to stop trying to import America and United Kingdom into Nigeria, because we are not the same society. Okay, in those places, almost everybody has access to electricity. Almost everybody has access to television and radio, at least. As a matter of fact, radio has gone to extinction in those societies. Everybody has television. So if you copy from them, you must domesticate it in a way that it will suit your own local context. You mustn't do it the same way they do it. But you don't have to reinvent the wheel, because some people have already done something like that somewhere. You just need to copy and domesticate it. So we have to be creative and innovative about the way we send message to our people. It's not enough to be on TV and radio and see something, say something, because a lot of people don't have access to those things.
Well, what more would you be looking to see? I mean, looking at the fact that this national counter-terrorism campaign was launched a couple of days ago here in Abuja. We understand that the ministries, departments and agencies of government are supposed to be keen into that particular plan. We're not very clear on what it's supposed to entail right now. But what would you be looking to see in a national counter-terrorism security campaign?
Well, what I will look to see is engaging people like you in your profession, the media, the general public, like we have always been saying. Any security strategy that is not centered on the citizens is going to be dead on arrival. Every national security strategy has to be centered around its citizens, and the media is critical to that. Our institutions of education are critical to that. Our religious places are very critical to that. We have to know what our religious leaders are, what information they are putting out in their mosques and their churches. Those things have to be part of it. Now, my problem with Nigeria is not policy. We are very, very good at putting things on paper. If you go down to our history, we have had more constitutional conferences than any other country on the face of the planet. But we are yet to get the one that is acceptable to us. My problem with Nigeria is implementation. Okay? Somebody